Finn McCrafter returned to the ruins every night in the dream. The office building had become a city of broken concrete, twisted steel, and shattered glass. Jackdaws rose from the rubble as he walked. Ahead, a young woman lay on the gray floor. Finn always tried to reach her. He never did. Then he woke. His flat smelled of stale beer and wet clothes. Rain pressed against the windows. Beyond the rooftops, the real building site was still there. Not ruined, nearly finished. 18 months earlier, the project had begun with speeches and a promise of a modern office building. Then construction costs rose. The developer demanded savings. The contractor demanded speed. Details were revised. Temporary solutions remained longer than intended. Finn approved several changes. He never knowingly approved anything dangerous. But afterward, he remembered trusting calculations completed by others. He remembered saying they would review everything properly later. He could no longer remember whether later ever came. Faye Sullivan had been the town's building inspector. Young, calm, and respected, she had heard rumors from the site. Reduced supervision, modified supports, details that no longer matched the drawings. Workers had been pushed to keep moving. None of it could be proved. Together, it was enough to worry her. One Saturday night during unstable weather, Faye had entered the site alone. No one had asked her to go. She had carried a camera. The recovered photographs showed temporary works and incomplete structural elements. They proved nothing. They had cleared no one either. At some point, Faye fell from an unfinished floor. No one had seen it happen. By morning, wind had scattered materials across the site. Safety barriers were damaged. Temporary supports had shifted. Meteorologists spoke of a possible local whirlwind. Engineers disagreed about what moved first. The town blamed everyone. At the Rusty Nail pub, conversations always faded when Finn entered. Elspeth, the pub's owner who had raised Faye, brought him a beer and sat opposite him.
Finn, people don't like unfinished stories. Give them a gap and they'll fill it. Give them silence and they'll put words inside it. I've heard every theory in the book in this bar. Some blame the contractor. Some blame the wind. Some blame Faye for going there alone. And some say you signed a paper, so it must all belong to you. The people who know the least are usually the most certain. I don't know what happened to her. I only know she went there because she thought something was wrong. Now everyone wants the story to end neatly because grief is easier when it has one name.
The investigation lasted almost a year. The trial itself took several more months. Documents were reviewed, workers were interviewed, weather records were reconstructed, experts produced reports that answered one question and created another. Criminal charges were brought against several people connected to the project. Sometime later, Liam, Faye's brother, asked Finn to come by. Finn expected anger. Instead, Liam made tea.
I've worked on sites where nothing is officially unsafe. That's how it starts. One support is moved because someone needs space. One inspection is delayed because everyone is busy. One change is made on Friday and written down on Monday. Then Monday becomes next week. Nobody comes to work planning to kill someone. They just get used to things that would have frightened them 6 months earlier. Don't blame you for wanting the project finished. I don't even blame you for trusting people who were supposed to know their jobs. but responsibility was spread so thin that everyone could pretend they had none. And I think blaming yourself has become your full-time job.
There was one revision I approved late in the evening. I thought the engineer had checked it, and the contractor had already begun preparing the work. I told myself I was coordinating, not calculating. Legally, that was true. But sometimes I wonder whether truth becomes smaller when you divide it into job descriptions. Maybe nothing I signed caused her fall. Maybe one approval did. I don't know which possibility is worse.
The judgment was announced on a wet Thursday. At the Rusty Nail, Elspeth opened the newspaper and started reading aloud.
The court found shortcomings, failures of coordination, and conditions that had increased the overall risk. It also found that weather had contributed significantly. No single act or omission could be proved to have caused Faye's death beyond reasonable doubt. No one was convicted of causing it. Maybe the prosecutor will appeal, maybe not. I don't suppose this changes much for any of us.
Finn left without finishing his drink. He walked through the rain toward home. The almost finished office building stood silent behind the fence. Finn stopped. He looked at it for a long time. Then he turned and walked home. At home, Finn went to bed and closed his eyes. For a moment, the building was only a building. Then the walls opened into a ruined city. Jackdaws rose into the dark. The court had reached its verdict. The town would move on. Finn was not sure he ever would. Some structures fail because of concrete. Others fail because memory refuses to stop rebuilding them.